That 5-pound limit, man, you're really pushing it, aren't you? Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize if there's any wind noise that affects the audio a little bit. Today we're over in the pasture and where we had all this hay cut, and it's been raked and some of it's been put into bales. And Kat is going to use this hay to feed her horse throughout the winter. So she's going to get some of this hay put into round bales, some of this hay put into squares. She's going to feed the squares, doesn't really need the rounds. So she's going to give the round bales to her dad that has cattle, and the rest of the round bales are going to go to the neighbor that baled this for us. Some of these bales aren't perfect because their baler's old and it's not always perfect, but it'll do the job and get it done for Kat for what she needs it for. And they also didn't get it all baled last night because, well, the baler was giving them fits. So we're gonna get all the bales picked up that we need to and put them on the hay rack so we can get them inside. I think they're gonna come back and bale the rest either today or tomorrow. And then when that happens, we'll pick up the rest of the square bales and put them inside as well. What are you doing, Puzzle Nuts?
You caught me.
More junk.
I was cleaning up. Not that anything is ever out of place here, but
Cleaning up your act. Pigs are all chored, so now we just gotta.
We got the classic back.
Yep, we better go let them know what you changed.
Oh man, it's top of the line now. Looky there, folks. For all you people that thought I needed a whatever you call it to keep the rain out of my straight pipe, boys at the John Deere store hooked me up. Probably cost me $100 for that. No, I don't know what it cost. But anyway, now there'll be no more water getting into the straight pipes. No more tarred and feathered for me when we have to pull start this. But hopefully we're not going to have to pull start it because we converted it. It's now 12 volts instead of 24. It starts way better. Pump might need to be adjusted a little bit. The idle's a little slow, but we did that. And I'll come around this side. This is the highlight. I'm getting old and feeble. We actually had these steps on my other 4010, the one that doesn't run, that's sitting in the shed. I got these from my dad and I had it on that tractor, but I thought, you know what, let's just put it on here. That way Sawyer can use it, because you know his coordination's not very good, so this will help him out. I don't need it, but for him it'll be great. And we put a blinker on it, but we only put it on one side because we spend most of the time just going in a freaking circle around here. We're like NASCAR. We only turn to the left, so there wasn't any need to put one on the right. But if I'm heading down the highway, safety first. And we fixed a few leaks. We cleaned up the hydraulic hookups so they don't leak, at least for a little while. So yeah, it's ready to go.
We got the A-team assembled here, the loading pigs A-team here. We got Kat, we got Dad, we got Hank, he's a new addition. We got Duke over here. We're well equipped to get this job done.
I'm just here for the hay rack.
She's here just to make sure we do everything right to her specs, because she's not going to be able to pick up any bales.
I'll probably come up.
So, because her wrist is not in great shape, so I'll probably do most of the bale lifting. Dad's going to be driving, and Kat will just be telling me everything that I'm doing wrong so that I do it right.
If any of them fall apart, you're gonna have to hand wrap them. I'm gonna give you twine string, go pick it up, hand wrap it.
Stacked them a little too high then?
Well, as you can see, that was what we call an exercise in futility because they had baler problems. The tension wasn't the same on both strands of the bale, so when they came out, most of them wanted to banana, I guess you call it. And so not very good. A bunch of this is all gonna have to get rebaled. So
the ones that aren't tied correctly or aren't gonna get on the rack, we just took it off and let it lay in the pasture and be rebaled, because
yeah, they're
no
not
use putting it on there if it's not going to make it all the way to the barn. What do you think, bud? You like the farm life? Does this bring back fond memories as a child?
Yeah. We used to bale 4 loads, then we'd go unload 4 loads, and then we'd go back and we'd bale at least 2 more loads and sometimes 4 more, and then we'd mow all that, and then you called it a day. And that, even for a 10-year-old, you realize that sucked ass, and you didn't know any better, and you're like, this isn't good, I don't like this. But it actually wasn't too bad because my dad didn't make the bales huge. It was when you baled for neighbors. There were guys that would wire tie straw bales, and those things were heavy.
That 5-pound limit, man, you're really pushing it, aren't you? Tork's backing it in like butter. He should have been a trucker.
My dad would lose his mind because a grass bale like that, if it didn't weigh 60, 70 pounds, he'd have them so tight that when you dropped them up there, at least if 1 out of 8 didn't bust because it was so tight, he wouldn't be happy, because he would crank that baler down. Because this twine's expensive, so you wanted to pack them in there just as tight as you could. He would not be impressed with these. He'd be giving the head shake. So, but that's all right. It is what it is.
It's better than
it's
pitchforking it on.
It'll be good in January, and it beats pitchforking, and we've got them, and good to have it.
Hey,
in the
this'll
shed.
do, right?
This'll do. Okay, well, the next thing on the list is to decide if we're gonna book, we're gonna book, but decide how much LP we're gonna book. And so I checked the tanks down at site 2, and they're at 70%. So I came up here, and these 4 tanks are all plumbed together. And this one's at 60%, and the south one's at 70%. So all of them are somewhere between 60 and 70%. And I checked Sawyer's, and Sawyer's are full. Probably about 8,000 gallons of LP on hand. I'm probably just gonna book another 10,000. That should get us through harvest. And your site fills before it gets cold. In fact, all these sites will fill before it gets cold. So we should only have one group in early spring, like in February, 18,000 gallons that we've got either on site or spoken for. That should be enough. So I'm gonna call the LP guy and book that. About every dryer, every bin full that you dry will burn 1,000 gallons if it's very wet. If we have 50,000 bushels of corn, it's gonna take probably 7,500 gallons of LP. If we end up with the tanks full next spring, we will have burned maybe 10 or 12,000 gallons of LP through the year. So
we're gonna fire up the bin, see if it all works, and grease the shit we need to grease, and just kind of get accustomed to what we unlearned from last year. First thing, gotta get all the birds' nests out in the places that they're at, because birds are notorious for just messing up your bin equipment and having nests in the hopper. And
you just ruined somebody's habitat. All the bird lovers are gonna be up your ass now. So the first thing is, I guess, one, make sure we actually shut everything off last year, which I'm pretty sure we do, and then flip the breakers, make sure nothing sparks, and then I'll go around the control panel and we'll bump everything. We'll scoop away the corn in there to grease the sweep augers, and then I'll go up on top of the bin, grease the bearing at the top. I don't think we're not going to take the dome off of that. So we'll open that bin, but I greased the sweep in it when we got done with it, so I don't think I need to grease it again. So
I guess you could call this our harvest checklist before we get started.
So we're gonna grease this. We'll dig the corn away from the sweeps in there, and we'll grease that, and I'll grease the top of the bin, and that's basically all we're gonna do right now. Oh, the other thing is our light doesn't work, so sometime I gotta bring the extension ladder up and tear that thing apart and figure out what the deal is.
I think you got it. I don't know if it took
No,
long.
I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did.
Oh,
That one's good. Okay, 1 down, 5 to
I'm
go.
grease lightning.
You're something. Oh, well, at least the roof didn't leak. It's not dead. It's a little crusty. One of the disadvantages of a shiver CircuFlow bin is it's kind of a booger to clean out because there's no good way to get everything out of here. It does have an unload auger on it, but if you noticed, it's this far off the ground. We'll come up here in a cool morning before we start this fall, and we'll sweep everything in the middle, and we'll run as much up and over to the bin as we can, and the rest of it we won't worry about. So I don't know how much grease to put in it. I just put some in every fall before we start, and then I'll grease it once while we're using it. Should have brought my pocket knife. You got your pocket knife?
No, we're piss poor farmers. We need to get some of those and have them on hand all the time.
Should have a crescent wrench, a Leatherman.
We need a Leatherman. That's what we need.
Christmas is coming. Why don't you get us custom Leatherman that says numb nuts and dildo? You can pick which one you want. On second thought, I want to be numb nuts. That's good.
It's all going out the side.
Oh, it is over there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then we're golden.
How are you gonna get up here when you're in a wheelchair someday?
I'm not. I'm just going to drive up in my Cadillac pickup and look at whoever's doing it and say, good job, go check that out.
What a view. God love America. God bless America. Oh, got any bird's nests in there?
Nope. God dang it. You're gonna like this, Sawyer. Okay, well, that Zerk, the problem with it is my grease gun, the tip on it is too long to get it in here. Oh, wait. By God, there's a hole on the back side. I think I can get it. All right, watch out, folks. Most accidents happen within the home. By God, look at that. Gotta get the little springy deal off. Well, the grease isn't coming out anywhere, so it must have taken. All right, that's all we gotta do to this one. We know it runs. The belt's good. Now, if we can carefully get down without falling off the side of the bin, we'll be good. We forgot one thing, pretty important. We're gonna light this thing up, and we're gonna make sure the fans all start. There we go. All right.
One for one.
So far, so good. Most motors have a tag that says they pull X number of amps. Like a feed motor, it'll say it pulls 8 amps or whatever. These say 44 to 55 amps. Whatever, depends. And the problem that we had was we kind of had it designed, I think, for 50 amps per motor. And the length from the box and the way we had stuff shared for everything else, if they pulled over that, it would pop the breaker. So we had to up things a little bit to give us a little cushion.